Hello children, welcome to your online class of SST. Today we are going to discuss lesson 17th, Winning Freedom. India's struggle for freedom from foreign rule was an important event of the 20th century. This freedom did not come easy. India's struggle for independence was unique in many ways. Many in India, as well as in Britain, made fun of the leaders who followed the path of non-violence. Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation, once said, "First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win." Now let us study the course of the freedom struggle after the Great Revolt of 1857. The Indian National Congress. It was formed by A.O. Hume. The Indian National Congress was an organization formed in 1885. A.O. Hume formed the Indian National Congress with an aim to give the educated Indians a platform to engage in a dialogue with the British government. The British, on their part, wanted to pacify the Indian people and avoid any revolt in future. The first session of the Indian National Congress took place in Bombay, now Mumbai. In the beginning, the members of the Congress were moderates. Later on, a group of radicals emerged in the Congress who believed in fighting for their demands. This group was led by Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Bipin Chandra Pal, popularly known as Lal Bal Pal. They strongly believed in protests, strikes and boycotts as tools of protest against the British government. Partition of Bengal. The British government was worried by the rising tide of nationalism. The British felt threatened by the very thought of Indians getting united. So they decided to divide and rule. The Viceroy of India, Lord Curzon, decided to divide or partition of Bengal in 1905. At that time, Bengal was the center of nationalism. It was also an important center of business, industries and education. Thus, to suppress nationalism and to weaken the economy, the British partitioned Bengal. Though the British partitioned Bengal in the name of administrative convenience, but their main motive was to divide the Hindu-Muslim unity and to divert the attention of people from nationalism. The partition was meant to dilute the national unity, but it worked the other way around for the government. Vande Mataram, a song composed by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, helped spread the feeling of nationalism. Swadeshi movement. Indians strongly opposed the partition of Bengal. Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Bipin Chandra Pal, along with Aurobindo Ghosh and other political leaders, protested against the government. The chief motive of the British was to earn profits by turning India into a market for their industrial products. Indian leaders asked the people to boycott foreign clothes and products. By doing this, they attacked the British economic interests. They asked the Indians to use products made in India. Huge bonfires of British goods were made. Women and students participated in the movement. The Swadeshi movement started in Bengal but soon spread to other parts of India. Unification of Bengal. There were strong protests against the partition of Bengal. The British government tried to suppress the movement. However, the government was forced to reunite Bengal in 1911. The capital of India was shifted from Calcutta to Delhi. India's participation in the First World War. The First World War broke out in 1914. Thousands and thousands of Indian soldiers fought and died for the British Army in the war. The people hoped that after the war, the British would free India or at least grant the right of self-governance. However, by the end of the war, it became clear that the British had no intention of leaving India. They imposed new taxes and brought out new laws. The Rowlatt Act. The Rowlatt Act was passed in 1919. This act was termed as a Black Act, as it authorized the government to arrest without trial anyone suspicious of working against the government. Mahatma Gandhi, who had returned to India from South Africa in 1915, asked people to oppose the unjust British laws. Peaceful protests were held all over the country. Jallianwala Bagh Massacre. On 13th April 1919, a peaceful public gathering of about 10,000 men, women and children was held in the Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar to protest against the unlawful policies of the government. A British officer named General Dyer came with his troops, blocked the only exit from the park and opened fire on the innocent public without warning. Thousands were killed and injured in this incident. This incident sparked fresh row of protests against the government and gave birth to another great movement, the Khilafat movement. The word Khilafat means protest. The Muslims in India were angered by the treatment meted out to the Sultan of Turkey. To protest against this, various Indian leaders such as Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, M.A. Ansari, the Ali brothers launched this movement. The Non-Cooperation Movement. In 1920, the Non-Cooperation Movement was launched by Mahatma Gandhi to protest against the Jallianwala Bagh massacre and the unjust and unfair attitude of the British government. Mahatma Gandhi asked people not to cooperate with the British government. People from all walks of life participated in this movement. They boycotted foreign products. The non-cooperation movement was a major setback for the government. The movement was later joined with the Khilafat movement and became a bigger problem for the British. Unfortunately, a violent incident took place in Chori Chora in Uttar Pradesh in 1922. In this incident, villagers agitated by the killing of some people set a police station on fire, in which 22 policemen were killed. Since Mahatma Gandhi believed in non-violence, he withdrew the non-cooperation movement when it became violent. Simon Commission. The British were facing difficulties due to regular protests by the people. To pacify the people, the government set up the Simon Commission in 1928. The commission would hear the problems of the people and make suitable amendments. Though the commission had been set up to address the problems and needs of the people of India, it did not have a single Indian as member. Nationwide protests were held. Wherever the commission went, people shouted the slogan, "Simon, go back!" Civil disobedience movement. The civil disobedience movement, launched under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi, was started in 1930. The Congress gave the slogan of Purn Swaraj, meaning complete independence. Gandhiji asked people to refuse to pay taxes. This movement spread throughout the country and people participated in it in large numbers. The movement was to be a peaceful one. This movement started with the Dandi March of Gandhiji and his few followers marched from the Sabarmati Ashram in Ahmedabad to Dandi in Gujarat. Gandhiji made salt to break the salt law. Quit India movement. This movement was started by Mahatma Gandhi in August 1942. It aimed at throwing out the British government from India. Gandhiji gave the slogan of "Do or die" to the people. The British realized that their time in India was over now. The British government agreed to free India after World War II in 1945. The Indian National Army, also known as Azad Hind Fauj, was formed by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose to fight against the British. He gave the slogans "Jai Hind" and "Give me blood and I shall give you freedom." On 15th August 1947, India became a free nation and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru became the first Prime Minister of independent India. But this freedom did not come without a price. The country was partitioned into two parts on the basis of religion. The Hindu-dominated part remained in India, whereas the Muslim-dominated part was called Pakistan. India became a democratic republic on 26 January 1950. So children, this lesson has been completed. Jai Hind!